Hi everyone, and welcome to our Wednesday TNT, an invitation to subscribe to the channel. If you want to do something to help, you could do nothing better than subscribing to the channel. Now, a few things to catch up on first, a few updates on stories we've heard either recently or a bit further back, but I also just wanted to say how damn hot it is at the moment. The last 3 or 4 days have been as hot as I can remember it here in Thailand. I'm living next to the beach with a sea breeze coming in the afternoon, but been heading to places like Amazon and other local cafes to work in the middle of the day where it's, I can say very unpleasant at the moment. Let's go to our first update, and Thai PBS World, son of Spanish actor, goes on trial over Thai island murder. And the murder trial of a famous Spanish actor's son opened yesterday on a popular Thai tourist island, that's Koh Samui, where he'll face charges of killing another foreigner. Daniel Sancho Bronchallo, who's 29, pleaded not guilty at a hearing in November to the murder of 44-year-old Colombian plastic surgeon Edwin Arrieta Ortega on the nearby Koh Phangan Island. The trial opened yesterday on the honeymoon island of Koh Samui. I've heard Koh Samui referred to in many ways, but never as the honeymoon island. Have you heard that before? And a shot there from AFP of his father arriving at the court, apparently a famous Spanish actor. And under Thai law, premeditated murder convictions carried the death penalty. However, Arrieta's family previously said they would not seek the death penalty. And whilst it still exists on the statute books in Thailand, it's only been carried out, I think, only once in the past 20 years. Most of the people who are sentenced to death, they have their sentence commuted by the other monarch here in Thailand. And Sancho and Arrieta were reported by Spanish media to have connected on Instagram back in 2022, with Sancho travelling to Thailand on July 31st, that's last year, as a tourist, where he met the surgeon. And a bit further down, CCTV footage obtained by local media showed Sancho and the victim on a motorcycle together shortly before the remains were discovered. Police said in August, this is last year again, Sancho's motive for the killing was unclear. And that trial expected to last until mid-May. Heading now to another perspective on the air pollution problem up in northern Thailand. And Nation Thailand says PM 2.5 pollution blamed for rising lung cancer cases and deaths in the north. And northern Thailand, which chokes with heavy smog every year, has now been recording more than 2,400 new lung cancer cases per year, with an average of 1,800 patients succumbing to the disease every year. And the Deputy Director of the Medical Services Department said more new lung cancer cases and lung cancer deaths in the north compared to other regions. An average of 2,487 new lung cancer cases are diagnosed in the north, or an average of about 7 new cases per day. And that equates to around about 1,800 people succumbing to lung cancer per year, and that's about 5 per day. And on Monday this week, Chiang Mai administration declared 5 districts on the border with Myanmar as disaster zones, saying trans-border smog caused the air quality there to worsen. And just a very quick check of the IQ Air today, and good to see Chiang Mai not on that top 7 list, but you can see just north of the northern Thailand border, very heavy air pollution and forest fires in the northwest of Myanmar and northern Laos. Heading to our next update story today, and from the Bangkok Post, 17 police, 7 civilians jailed over dinner party murder. This occurred last year. We'll get to some background as we go through the story. The Central Criminal Court for Corruption and Misconduct Cases has sentenced 15 policemen and 7 civilians to prison in connection with the murder of a highway policeman at the home of an influential Kamnan last year. And Kamnan's usually the elected head of a mu, or like a tambon, it's like a large township here in Thailand. And 4 policemen were each sentenced to 2 years, and the 11 others to 16 months each on charges of malfeasance. 3 of the sentences were suspended. 1 other was found not guilty of the charge. All attended a dinner hosted by Parwin Chankhlai at his home in the city district of Nakhon Phanom last September. Praveen is known locally as Kamnan Nok and was an influential Tambon chief in the province. The deadly dinner party ended with the murder of Police Major Sivakorn Saibua, a highway policeman, in full view of the other guests by a gunman who arrived at the function. Many of the guests were senior police officers who made no effort to stop or capture the killer. The murder arose from an argument over a promotion, and there a bit of a list of some of the sentences handed out, and Praveen still faces a more serious charge of being the alleged mastermind of the murder. He turned himself in the day after the shooting. Some updates on some of the news from mostly last year. A follow-up on what's happening in Myanmar. Very good article in Nikkei Asia the last couple of days. Headlined, Myanmar military faces humiliating rout on Thai border. And this relates to the Burmese army surrendering the town Myawaddy on Sunday. And the first of several Burmese charter planes had left the Thai town of Mae Sot just across the border from Myawaddy, with a small group of regime officials as well as documents and what one official described as sensitive cargo, understood to include cash assets from state bank branches in Myawaddy. And Rangsaman Rome from the Move Forward Party said in Parliament yesterday, "We should not act in support of the Myanmar military government like this. Many are now concerned that there may be carpet bombing in Myawaddy, which will result in the death of innocent people and may lead to people fleeing from the fighting to Thailand. The international community will definitely see Thailand's involvement in this, and most importantly, it will be Thailand that must accommodate these people fleeing the conflict." A quick map there in the Nikkei Asia showing those red spots, which are now towns that have been won back by some of the resistance fighters against the Burmese army, principally up there on the border with China when the Chinese army were involved with relieving many of the victims of those online scam casinos in that area. And then further down that map we've got Myawaddy, and then on the Thai side, Mae Sot. And a KNU source told Nikkei Asia, "To be frank, the fallout could be disastrous, causing more civilian casualties and sending refugees to Thailand. This could be a nightmare scenario. I don't think you can put anything past the junta." So a worry that after the Burmese army surrendered in Myawaddy that the army might send in planes to do some carpet bombing right there on the border at Myawaddy. Meanwhile, the Bangkok Post reporting Thailand braces for exodus, and Thailand's preparing to accept 100,000 refugees fleeing fighting in Myanmar after rebel forces seized control of Myawaddy. And this is according to the Foreign Affairs Minister, who said that the government had made necessary preparations to accommodate an influx of refugees in safe areas temporarily. And if the number of people fleeing the conflict exceeds 100,000, agencies concerned have assured us they can still manage the situation. He said the Thai-Myanmar border remains open, but if the fighting disrupts the transportation of goods, routes will be shifted to other border provinces such as Ranong, which is about 200 kilometres north of where I live here in Pangar. And he went on to say that the request was for the transport of civilians and documents, not military personnel, weapons or cash assets from the state bank branches, as reported by some media outlets. But according to the Karen Information Centre, the Sunday flight from Mae Sot to Yangon was reportedly used to transport money from the Myanmar Economic Bank in Myawaddy and other private banks in the town back to Yangon. So the Thai Foreign Affairs Minister, a bit of an outlier there, where it seems most of the media are reporting that they were indeed trying to transport cash and military personnel and other important documents back into Myanmar. And acknowledging our sponsor 5 Star Marine at 5starmarinephuket.com. Despite it being very hot, it would be very pleasant racing across Pangar Bay and finding a beautiful beach and getting some great shots. So yeah, contact 5 Star Marine if you are in town and you'd like to head out and check out the beautiful Pangar Bay. As we go to, I suppose this could be considered a bit of an update, Bangkok Post reporting casino report wins cabinet endorsement. And a special House committee report on legalising entertainment complexes with casinos in Thailand was endorsed by the Cabinet on Tuesday. The Ministry of Finance says an additional study on the feasibility of the investment will be done within 30 days. And the spokeswoman says the entertainment complex project is one of the key elements of the government's fun economy sector. That includes tourism, sport, entertainment venues and MICE. That's the meetings, incentives, conferences and exhibitions business. It's a bit like they can't say the word smoke in relation to the PM 2.5 problem in the north. They sort of can't say the word casino. They've got to call it entertainment complexes. And citing the House Committee's study report, the spokesperson said the proposed entertainment complex scheme would likely help Thailand generate more tax revenue and consequently enable the government to help a wider range of people. But the House Committee report was met with strong objections from a large group of university academics, mainly from Chulalongkorn University. They issued a statement warning that legalising casinos in Thailand could do more harm than good. So probably bring in more money into the country. Exactly where it will go, not so sure. But let's check on the Thai economy. And this according to an article in VietnamPlus.vn. Thailand's currency becomes one of Asia's worst performers. Apparently, the currency's already dropped almost 7% since the start of January, making it one of Asia's worst performers, and putting it less than 1.4% away from last October's low of nearly 37.23 per dollar. That's per US dollar. And while economists expect the Bank of Thailand policymakers to further delay rate hikes this week, traders were cautious after the two Bank of Thailand members voted in favour of a rate cut at their previous meeting in February. In the same month, the Prime Minister called for an emergency rate cut. Bit of an ongoing point of difference between the Bank of Thailand and the Thai Prime Minister. Let's check with xe.com to check the US dollar versus the Thai baht today. And as we speak this morning, $1 US equals 36.3373 Thai baht. In the last month, there's certainly been quite a steady rise there of Thai baht versus the US dollar. But in the last week, well, we can see it's dropped quite a bit. So Americans today getting a little bit less for their Thai baht as they were 1 week ago. Of course, these currency fluctuations going up and down, that's from xe.com if you do want to check your currency versus the Thai baht. The motor show's winding up. It's been the Bangkok Motor Show, not the Thailand Motor Show, which was late last year. Nation Thailand reporting Toyota tops Bangkok Motor Show bookings. EV, that's electric vehicle share, soars to 33%. And Toyota topped sales at this year's Bangkok International Motor Show as bookings surged 27.5% compared to last year. But the biggest trend was EVs. EV bookings increased to 17,517 compared to a total amount of car bookings at the show, 58,611. Let's check the leaderboard here. Toyota, as we said, 8,540 cars. BYD, the Chinese EV maker, now the leading EV maker in the world, 5,345 cars. That's astonishing. Honda, another internal combustion producer here in Thailand, they came third. MG, another Chinese EV maker. Then you've got Mitsubishi, Chang'an and Aeon. They're both producing electric cars, as are Great Wall Motors. Then you've got Isuzu, Nissan, Mazda. They're not really producing EVs here in Thailand. Then Mercedes-Benz, an amazing amount of a luxury vehicle like that. Nita, another smaller EV maker, but starting to see a lot of those on the roads. Then you've got Suzuki and Ford. And then all the others just a bit further down there we are. Xpeng, they're another Chinese EV producer making some stunning cars. So the rise of EVs continues, at least here in Thailand. BYD, what an amazing result, just second there behind Toyota, who usually win the leaders board at these shows. amazes me how many people actually buy their cars at the shows rather than going down to their dealer and taking it for a test drive. Well, that's how I used to do it anyway. Hopefully you're a bit more up to date with things happening around Thailand. Please subscribe to the channel. That really helps. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.